Welcome back to the channel. Today's just gonna be a little video on these two saws I just got done working on. I believe they're pretty close in comparison. They're homeowner models. It's a Stihl MS250 and a Husqvarna 345. The 250 is 45 cc. It's 3 horsepower, I believe, weighs around 10 pounds. The 345 Husky is, I believe, 40 cc's, like 2.2 or 2.5 horsepower, weighs around 9.8 pounds. What I'll do is, they both currently have 18-inch bars on them. This still has an RM, not a full chisel, and then the Husky has a safety chain. Do a couple cuts. It's not going to be which is faster, which is better. Just kind of give the average homeowner a little idea, like what's out there. I believe the 250, they're 251s now, I believe, and they're priced anywhere from like $429 to $459 is what I saw. And I believe the Huskies are in around, I want to say $379. I think the 345 is pretty close to, like, I think it's like a 445, which is, I think, more comparable to this. It's a little on the smaller side, but we'll give them a comparison. We'll put them into some different size wood, and we'll just kind of watch and see which one's better. All right. Both the Husky and the Stihl have 16-inch bars. I was mistaken. I thought they were 18. I was going to try to use the same chain. So I don't have any other bars or chains smaller than that, and I have no Husky bars and no 16-inch chains. So we'll run them with the chains that are on them. Like I said, they're not going to be rocket ships, but neither of these saws have been started, so that'll be the first thing we do. We'll start both of them. We'll use a little primer bubble here on the Husky. Put the choke on. She fires. Not bad. It still doesn't have a primer ball. Put her down in the choke run position. She pops. Put her on fast idle. I will say, it does seem like when pulling them, that the Husky is easier to pull. That's for sure. I did read a thing that it noted that on the internet, that those were easier to start. So we'll start with the Husky, and we'll just hit a couple different size pieces of wood, and then we'll hit the same pieces of wood with the Stihl. About 10-inch diameter. It's smaller here. Okay, there's just a couple cuts. Like I said, I'll just do a couple cuts with these. It's just a quick comparison. Not gonna do any speed cuts. So like I said, there's so many variables. They're running different chains. Just to kind of give people an idea in wood size. For your homeowner saw, you know, someone's just looking for a saw to do maybe some light cutting, a little bit of clean up of limbs and stuff around the house, small, like fire pits. I mean, it definitely wasn't really a fan of the bigger wood stuff, like in this range. I think like 7 to 10 inch. I think he'd be completely happy with it. I will say it's definitely smooth. It's a smooth saw. It's got a lot of anti-vibe, which Huskies are known for being a smooth saw. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit more vibrating in your hand. Not gonna lie. It handled the bigger wood. It seemed better. Definitely seems like it has more low end. Doesn't seem to be, don't seem like it winds out as high, which is your typical Stihl Husky back and forth. Definitely could dog in a little heavier, but again, this is 45cc, 3 horsepower, and the Husky is 40cc and is like 2.2, 2.5. I think it's on the lower end. I think it's 2.2. Trying to remember off the top of my head, but either way, either one of these saws will get you through in a pinch, or if you need a backup saw to a bigger saw or something, just small storm cleanup, small wood. I wouldn't go out and cut like big wood like this with it. It definitely wouldn't like that at all. The only other thing we have, and we'll get to that here, we'll go do that in the garage, is serviceability, and kind of decide. All right, just for the heck of it, we'll throw in the MS261, which was the Moto Milk test saw, which was supported by Empire Workshop. This will be no comparison to those two. This saw, like I said, has been ported and she runs quite well. So the thing about these 261s, they definitely seem to take to porting well. This little thing is almost on its 50th tank of fuel, and just screams. Usually it's almost one of them saws you grab before you grab your 400, your 462. It's just so light, nimble, and like I said, there's not too much that really gets in its way. All right, the Stihl, check your air filter. I'm gonna turn that. Gonna get this off. The Stihl air filter. It's right there. Working on this, what I noticed is Stihl. They have your normal 8mm studs. Your carb goes on, take the bolts off, carb slides off, take a screwdriver, flip that out, your fuel line comes up, you just unhook it, and then you got your impulse line. Pretty much they're all the same in this aspect. Now I know that Huskies, not all of them are like this. This is probably, like I said, an older saw. I don't know. Has a tag down in here. Whatever, 96701 63-00. I'm assuming the 00 means it's a 2000. Not sure, but it don't have the clips. Maybe the clips are just Pro Series saws. I don't know. I don't run a lot of Huskies. So these bolts either takes the flathead on your scrunch, or they'll also take a Phillips head. Cover comes off. There's your air filter. Just twist off. Stihl, carb. So you get it off. You got your fuel line. You got your purge line. The whole throttle, it don't clip out. It slides out, as you can see. Slides out, unhook it. It's held in on the side by rubber grommets. But then instead of the studs sticking out that the carbs slide on the studs, Husky has, I don't know if you can see it, these Allen heads. And maybe because I don't work on them a lot, to me, this setup is just a pain. You stick the Allen head in, turn it, and then this all comes out as one unit with the lines, everything like that. But putting it back together, you get everything in, and just trying to line the bolts up is, to me, an absolute nightmare. I got this side in, and you'd think when one side goes in, the other side would be closed. It wasn't. I fumbled around forever. Like I said, I don't work on Huskies too much. Most of the people around where we live run Stihls, and like I said, the stud sticking out that the carb slides on, and you tighten the bolts down, seems to me, as far as working on them, like a lot better idea than trying to find the entire stud to get it to go into the hole back in here. But oh no, neither one of them's a bad saw. Like I said, this, you don't get as much vibration in your hand on this. But as far as, like I said, working on them and stuff goes, it's probably because I've worked on a lot more Stihls than I have Huskies. They just seem easier. And like I said, both these are homeowner saws. They're the clam style saw. They have the bolts that go up through on the bottom. This one has a decompression valve on it. It pulls over very easy, even without using it. So that's just, like I said, everyone can have their own opinion. Pick whatever saw works for you. This is just a quick little run of 2 possible saws that are out there. If you're not into like big firewood cutting, or just doing it like a hobby where you just need a saw to cut up a limb that fell on your property, or like light property maintenance, I don't think you could go wrong with either one of these at all. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comments, and there will be a link in the comments to the Saw Spa store.